Good evening, everyone. This is Vertina Long with Souly for You Financial Freedom and Prosperity, where we are motivated in 2020 to help individuals to reach their financial and prosperity dreams. As I promised, I would come to you with different tips on financial freedom or gaining financial freedom and prosperity. And I know right now we are dealing with the coronavirus right now, the COVID-19, and I know that is hitting a lot of people uh, across the United States as far as their finances. And so, what I want to do tonight is talk to you a little bit about budget building because we want to make sure that even in the midst of this crisis that we are being conscientious about our budget and that we are making sure that we are uh, putting in place those things that we need to put in place, even though you might not be hurting right now. uh, we don't know how long this is going to last, so we need to make sure that we plan for uh, rainy day, so to speak. And so I'm going to talk to you tonight about a few things about budgeting. And so, of course, we know that the COVID-19 has literally near about shut our uh, country down. And so much of the economy, our restaurants, our hair salons, I'm holding on. I'm trying to hold on. I hate having to do my own hair, but it looks like that's what it's going to boil down to. But I'm going to try to maintain as long as I can. So, but even with those things, we need to really look at what we can take away and what we really need, and only spend our funds on the things that we actually need. I know, it's killing some of us not to purchase some of the things that we actually want, but at this point in stage of this crisis, we need to really manage our funds. So the first thing that you want to do is take stock of your current income situation. So if you're looking to reduce hours because of the current pandemic, I know some jobs are allowing people to work. Still work because they're essential employees. However, you have some jobs that are just allowing individuals to work only certain days, and then of course, you have those jobs that are just non-existent right now. And so we really need to be looking at our income. So if you lost your job entirely, you need to figure out what funds are coming into your home. So if you've already been laid off or furloughed, we need to look at what funds are coming in the home. Do you have a rainy day fund? If not, are you receiving severance pay? Or do you have some more checks that's out that will be coming in soon? If not, you may need to look at filing for unemployment. At this time that they are allowing people to file unemployment, even people who are self-employed, like myself, if you have a 1099 or if you have a company, they are allowing people to apply for unemployment payments to know it won't hurt the company that you work for at this present time because we are in a crisis. So if you're still working, it's a good idea to carefully consider how the COVID-19 crisis and the social distancing measures put in place respond to it could affect your income in the future. So a lot of people are looking at the fact that, hey, I'm still working, I'm okay. However, we don't know, what's going to happen tomorrow. They may say everybody has to stop working, and then you don't have that income. So you need to be looking at not just right now, but also at the future. If your job is at risk, you need to plan for that in the budgeting process. Okay, so when we talk about the budget process, we need to explore the benefits that are available to us. So the stimulus packages are currently being reviewed by the government, and of course, right now, I've heard that some of the individuals have already received their $1,200 or maybe $2,400 if you are a married couple, or if you have children, they are giving $500 per child. So it just depends on your family situation as to how much you will receive. So this will almost assuredly include expanded employment benefits with waived work requirements. That's what I was just talking about. So when you apply for the unemployment, normally you have to do 2 job searches per week. Well, they waived that. Where because of course you can't look for a job, really not too many people are hiring right now, and so that's kind of impossible with the social distancing that they want people to do. So they're waiving that. Paid sick leave and any sending checks to Americans are also a possibility on the table. So do you have any paid sick leave on your job? If you're able to qualify for unemployment benefits, you'll receive a portion of the wages you were earning before you lost your job, up to a set maximum. Specific formulas vary by state, but you won't get the entire amount that you were earning. So, say for instance, you were earning $1,000 a week. You'll only get a portion of that. But at the same time, something is going to be better than nothing. You should find out from your state's unemployment office how much income your benefits will bring so you're prepared. If the government decides to provide cash payments, you can also factor those in when determining your income. A one-time cash payment can be used to pay immediate bills or shore up your emergency fund. And regular payments provided throughout the crisis should be considered when setting your monthly budget. So if you're going to be getting a unemployment from your state, then that income needs to be factored into your budget. So food aid is likely to also be expanded in response to the COVID-19 crisis. So if you qualify for it, factor that the aid in you will be entitled to into your budget as income, since the assistance to you get buying groceries will free up some money for other uses. So normally you may not be eligible for food stamps, but hey, times are getting hard. So go to your state's website, Department of Human Services website, and I know the state of Oklahoma, where I am, they will allow you to apply for it online. And then you apply for it online, and when you put your information in, they'll estimate how much you qualify for, if anything. And so I encourage anybody to go ahead if you have lost income. And I mean, you have to feed your family. So you have to do, whatever you have to do short of anything illegal to feed your family. So I do recommend that, maybe you weren't eligible for food stamps before because you were working and you never needed that assistance, but right now you do need that assistance. You pay taxes, then hey, go on down there and apply for them. Now, the next thing, determine what your essential expenses are. Next, you will need to figure out what you must continue paying for during the coronavirus crisis, and this includes your bills such as your rent and mortgage payments. That's going to be top of the list. You want to figure that out. Your grocery costs, most loan payments, childcare if you're able to go to work, including for school-age children as long as schools remain closed, utility payments. So you want to figure those essentials out first. If you have federal student loans, interest payments have been waived, so you don't have to continue to making payments on them if you're facing economic hardship now, or if you worry you could be soon. It will take you longer to pay off your loans if you pause payment, but it makes sense for most people to do so if their income is at risk or if they won't have enough to cover other bills. So that is a bill that, hey, you can call them and try to make arrangements on that so you don't have to worry about that, and go ahead and pay some of those bills that are really essential. You should always be aware that other lenders, including credit card issuers, may be willing to work with you on a case by case basis to waive late payments or create a payment plan. And your utility companies will not be shutting off utilities during this crisis, so you don't have to worry about that, even if you miss a payment. However, if interest continues to accruing, you will want to keep on top of paying these bills if at all possible, so you aren't left with huge balances to repay once the crisis passes. So now I know with the utility bills, you may be able to contact your Department of Human Services again. And I'm not sure what it's called in other states, but I do know it's called LIHEAP here in Oklahoma. And it may be called that across the nation, just not sure. However, you can contact your local Department of Human Services and find out if they are paying any helping individuals with their utility bills. I do know here in the state of Oklahoma, if you were trying to start services, and I think it was restore services, or if you had a 72-hour cutoff notice, you could apply for that funding to see if you can get help with your utility bills. And I encourage people again to apply for that. I know, it's no time for, I don't want government assistance. Look, you gotta, that's money that could be freed up to pay for food if you're not eligible for the food stamps, or if you don't have income coming in and you need to pay your rent. That's money that can be, paid toward your utility bill, and you can move that money to something different. Also, build healthcare and emergency savings into your budget if you can. If you are still working, you need to pare down your expenses in case you get sick or lose your job. If the coronavirus pandemic drags on for a long time, you should still go down to the bare bones budget, just as those who are out of work need to do. So I've encouraged my children that even the ones that are still working, that hey, only buy what you need. None of this splurging on unnecessary things that you don't need. If you do have money coming in, save that money. If you don't need to spend it, don't go spending the money, because as I said, we don't know how long this is going to drag on. So you just need to be saving that money. You can't really go anywhere anyway, so don't be sitting up on your computer buying just unnecessary stuff from Walmart, Amazon, and QVC. I love those places, but right now we are in a crunch to where you really need to be saving where you can. You want to devote every extra dollar you can spare to savings for emergency and for health care. You'll want to save an emergency fund with at least 6 months of living expenses during this time of economic uncertainty. Most experts recommend having 3 to 6 months of expenses saved, but now is the time to err on the longer side due to the economic uncertainty. So I know, some people, I've been there where, hey, I was just making it paycheck to paycheck. But at this point, if you anything that you have left over, you need to be saving that. Your change, whatever you have left over, you really need to be saving that, because as I said, we don't know how long this is going to last. You should always try to save enough for health care to cover the maximum out-of-pocket limit with your insurance. That way, if you or loved ones uh, do end up needing hospitalization, you will not have to worry about how you are going to pay for it. And so I remember when my husband switched over to the health savings plan, I was like, yeah, I don't think I like this plan. I really don't like it. But now I'm thankful for that health care savings plan because, and the reason why, because I felt like uh, my doctor visits was more. Before, I had the little small co-payment, and that, that was all I had to pay. But now with the healthcare savings plan, my bills are a little bit uh bigger at my doctor's office. However, that health savings plan, he's paying money into it and the job is paying money into it, and now that's a good little chunk of change because uh, you know, thanks be to God, we haven't had any major illnesses or anything like that. So where I was worried about having to pay for our my doctor's visits and with my copay used to be $40. Well, now it's more than that. However, we have enough on that savings, that health savings plan, where I can just pay for it off that card. And so now we do have that little fund there that if I need a big prescription, or if I need to go to a specialist and there's an amount that needs to be paid, I can utilize that card. So now I'm thankful for that plan. And Mr. Long, I will give him his props. He made a good decision with that. Uh, 5, take action to cover any shortfalls. If you find that your expenses exceed the amount of income you have coming in, even after factoring in any unemployment benefits or other government assistance, you'll need to figure out how to deal with the shortfall. In a best case scenario, you'll be able to pick up extra income. There are still options for side hustles, and some companies, such as grocery stores and food delivery service, are actually hiring because they expect increased demand due to the COVID-19. And baby, let me tell you, that Instacart, I know some people in a group that I'm in. She lives out there in California, and baby, when I tell you, shoot, what she made in a week, working 40 hours shopping for other people's groceries, and that wasn't including the tips, that'll make you quit your job that you own and start working for those places like Instacart. And so I've turned some of my children onto that hey, you might need to look into that. So you want to look into places like that, or companies like that. However, if you're collecting unemployment benefits, you need to check with your state's rules, because earning too much could affect your eligibility. So if you're receiving unemployment, before you sign on to companies like Instacart, you want to make sure, how that will affect your benefits. So if you can't find work to cover your expenses, see if you can rely on your emergency fund if you have one. If you don't have one, explore the possibilities of using your tax refund or selling unneeded items to build one. So this is a good learning lesson for all of us that have filed our taxes and have gotten our taxes back. That just because you get a lump sum of money, don't mean you can just go crazy and splurge when you first get it. Because now, if you don't have that money, that could have been money that you could have utilized during this time. So if you've already gotten your tax money and already spent it on whatever, then let that be a lesson to you that, hey, sometimes you just need to hold on to when you get lump sums of money, because you just never know when something may come up. And that's even if this pandemic wasn't even going on, you still should look to save money. Even if you're not going to save it all, you should at least save some of it in order to be able to utilize it if you need to. um, if this still doesn't cover your shortfall, you could use a 0% uh, uh, credit card to cover some of your purchases. If you can qualify for a card offering no interest for a year or longer on purchases, you will have time to try to pay off what you're borrowing without owing extra for the interest. So just keep in mind that if you take this approach, you'll want to pay off the card as soon as you're able to. And I know that people don't like credit cards, or some people don't like credit cards, but one thing is that it's a good way to build your credit up. However, like I said, times are getting hard for people, and you may have to utilize a credit card. You may have to take out one. I just say don't abuse the card. Only utilize it for what you actually need. So the right budget can help you minimize the damage that COVID-19 does to your finances. The coronavirus will likely affect your finances, but making the right financial moves can help you make it through the COVID-19 crisis with the minimum amount of financial damage, or hopefully with no long-term negative impact at all. The key is to cut spending, take advantage of benefits, and shore up your emergency fund so you're ready if the worst occurs. So that's all I have for you tonight. And like I said, we want to start looking at our finances and creating a budget. And even after this coronavirus pandemic is over, once you start utilizing a budget and you stick to it for a while, it'll get easier. So I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. I'll come back to you this week about how to set up a budget, what that budget could look like. All right, you guys have a great night and have a great week, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.